here with Motorsport. Look, I'm your host right here, Colin Tatro. Now, let's talk about why sustainability, right? So sustainability is a degree fundamentally in creating change. One of the interesting things to consider about when you look for a college degree is, what are you going to do with it? When mom and dad say, what do you want to study? You say sustainability, you can throw some fun facts at them like this. Hey, did you know mom and dad normally, only 1 in 4 people use their college degree in a field of employment. However, in the School of Sustainability, that's nearly 75%. So if you study that, you're actually going to work in that area, which is going to be awesome. Second is also, it's a transdisciplinary perspective, which means that you work across different boundaries. So you will connect with a wide variety of folks in order to solve problems. That's what a 21st century job market demands. You're going to get those tools in here. The third aspect is solving these complex problems. Things are not linear in nature. They're actually going to be incredibly complex. We train you to do that. This part is a real world experience. You're going to have the ability to do this. Some of the jobs and opportunities here, right? There are alumni all over the place, working from federal departments, the Army Corps of Engineers, to U-Haul. We've also got the fact that ASU is an incredibly advanced place from a UN Sustainable Development perspective. Those UN SDGs really are the top line global perspective.
We have these 17 Sustainable Development Goals that were put out by the United Nations. Around the world, entities are working to make these happen. There's target goals, and we're trying to get things, make it more equitable in the world. Arizona State University is the 5th in the world at meeting these targets and working towards target goals as we move forward. That's out of 766 institutions who are achieving all 17 goals through research, through on-the-ground application. We are the 5th in the world. Only 3 American universities even made it into the top 100, and Arizona State University is #1 there.
You know, there's many different areas that you can study here at the School of Sustainability. Things like designing high quality cities. Over 55% of the world currently lives in cities that's continuing to escalate rapidly. How do we have abundant, affordable, and renewable energy for all people? Access to water, locally and globally. Farmlands, how do we protect our diminishing food supply? How do we tackle global climate change? How do we transform our societal structures in order to actually empower sustainability in the future? And then how do we provide equity and justice and sustainable development moving forward? Here at the school, you can actually major in 3 different perspectives: a Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science, and a Bachelor of Science in Food Systems. That last one was added just 2 years ago. Very exciting. The first 2 degree offerings that you see right there, you can specialize in a variety of different areas, 7 different tracks, as we call them, areas of specialization that you get to fine tune and hone in your degree. But hey, enough about that. We're going to turn it over to the main event here. I want to introduce Chloe, Andy, and Caitlin. These are our top tier School of Sustainability student ambassadors. So the reality here is we don't pick just anyone. This really is the cream that floats to the top of the milk. These folks are the wheat from the chaff. They are our professional representation. Now, we've asked them to join us here today because they will provide you an in-depth understanding and experience of what it means to be a change agent. So let me go ahead and turn it over to them for some really quick introductions. And let's lead off the introduction with your name, what your degree in particular is, and what your maybe specialization is, and just maybe 20 seconds about you. And let's lead it off with Chloe.
Hi all, so I'm Chloe. I'm getting a Bachelor of Science in Sustainability, and I'm concentrating on energy, materials, and technology. I have an interest in Spanish. I speak Spanish pretty fluently. I actually ended up going to Costa Rica and being able to maximize on that. A little bit more about myself, I'm originally from North Carolina. I moved here in my junior year of high school, and if you guys are familiar with Arizona schools, I went to Campo Verde and Gilbert.
Chloe, I remember you, obviously, right? You know, lovely time coming from Miss Kara Krauser over at Campo Verde. Andy, let's move over to you. What's your background and what's your story?
Hi, I'm Andy. I am studying a Bachelor's of Science in Sustainability with a focus on ecosystems. And I'm minoring in geological sciences because soil systems have been really interesting to me. And I am an Arizona native, born and raised. And one of the things that I have really found another interest in is I got to do a project called the SURE program at the School of Sustainability, where I got to look into green purchasing implementation and success in Italian municipalities. So that allowed me to look at a more a further away example rather than a local one, and really connect my knowledge to real world data, which was super cool and allowed me to tie my interest to actually getting work out into the field and publishing a report.
I love it. Thank you so much, Andy. Caitlin, let's go with you.
Hi everyone, I'm Caitlin Finnegan. I am getting a Bachelor's of Science in Sustainability with a focus in sustainable ecosystems, and I'm also minoring in urban planning. I'm originally from Las Vegas, Nevada, and something that's like super cool that I've done within the School of Sustainability is right now I'm doing an undergrad research internship focused on government aid for fishery disasters in Alaska and how they affect the fishing communities, which is something I'm interested in because I'm hoping to pursue a master's degree in marine conservation.
Incredible background from all of you students here today. Well, let's roll with some of these questions overall, and maybe you guys bounce them back and forth. First one, why did we choose sustainability, right? How did you first hear about this? So, Andy, let's go back over to you for this.
Sustainability, I had no idea that ASU offered it at first. I applied with environmental engineering, and it was just like one night on accident, I stumbled across the School of Sustainability website, and reading about how you got to apply your knowledge in a real world setting really drew me in, and all of the great opportunities that the school offers to do that even in an undergraduate position really made me want to be a part of the school, and I'm so happy that I made that choice when I did.
Sometimes things happen by happenstance. Chloe, what about you? How did you hear about the school?
My experience is a bit similar to Andy's, actually. I was a senior in high school, had no idea what I was going into college for, just knew I had to go to college because my parents told me I had to. And I actually applied to ASU, and I was going into biology and pharmacology when I was sitting in my AP Environmental Science, and Bridget and Colin actually both came into my class and explained to me what sustainability was, and I was like, oh, I care about the environment and people, and I care about money. Sounds like the major for me. And then when I actually started studying it, I realized this is definitely the major for me.
I love it. I love it. Well, yes, you're correct. You know, in addition to providing wide open opportunities, if you're interested in any of those things, people, planet, profit, you know, we gather and we work on all of those components right here as well. Caitlin, let's go over to you. How did you hear about the School of Sustainability?
My beginning of college experience is definitely unconventional. I applied to 2 colleges coming out of high school. I applied to ASU because my friend said that he applied, was going through and applying. I originally applied for the futures of the Society of Future Innovations, I want to say, but then I was like going through the list of majors that Arizona State offered, and I realized that I wanted to do sustainability, so then I changed my major to sustainability. And like Chloe said, I am like so happy that I did that, and I love sustainability in the school.
That a degree in sustainability existed ever. Maybe this is your first foray. Maybe more to explore is unlocking that. So let's dig a little bit deeper, right? These students were in your shoes just a few years ago. I'd love to hear it from all of you. What are like one of the top 1 or 2 things that you just love about being a sustainability major in particular? And let's toss that out to anyone.
My biggest thing that I love about sustainability is it filters, or it feeds the part of me that wants to help people. I knew before I even went to college that I wanted to help and help a cause and be helpful to the earth. And before I leave this earth, I wanted to say that I made an impact. And there are so many avenues in sustainability where I feel like I can do that. Like we said, there's 3 sectors. You can go into profit, you can go into society, and you can go into the environment. And in any of those 3, you can really make a huge difference.
Who else wants to go? What's something that you just really draws you here about the school?
One of the things that really drew me to it was how transdisciplinary it is. And so rather than just looking at one subject really specifically, you get to say, well, I can combine this knowledge that I have with this other interest, and like I can go into a woodworking class and then see how the materials are sustainable. So it allows you to incorporate all your different hobbies and ideas and really make it like an education that's really personalized to yourself, which is really an awesome opportunity.
Right. So in addition to different programmatic offerings, those tracks and the abilities to have an applied area, a secondary area of emphasis, we build that into your degree so that you can actually get a little bit of everything that you desire. And why don't we round it out? What else?
One of my favorite things about sustainability, and especially the School of Sustainability, is just the community, because everyone in the School of Sustainability has a passion for sustainability and the environment and like wanting to make a positive change going forward. And so I think that like having a smaller community that with people that you can really connect with and that you're in clubs and organizations with really just like help the experience. And especially like having the small school, you get to know faculty and you get to know your advisors, and you're like allowed to have a very close-knit community that's there to help you.
I agree, right? So, I mean, it's like a family, you know? I mean, it's an intimate school. Fun little fact here, everyone on the horn, our incoming freshman class, be about 60 to 65 students this year. You heard it, right? So this is the biggest university in the entire United States and a really intimate cohort of students. We're day one. And students, I'd be interested about this. Do you feel like you got to know all of your other students on kind of a personal basis very quickly?
I would say so, yes. I lived in Adelphi my freshman year, and I knew everyone living in Adelphi. I was super close with my CA2, who was a sustainability student, but she was a year above us. Having a small school really helps get connected with people and to build those relationships.
That was definitely something that attracted me to the school of sustainability, because I didn't want to go to the Polytechnic campus because I wanted the big campus feel, but being part of a smaller school still gave me that close-knit experience.
Last one?
I wasn't a part of Adelphi because I was in the Barrett complex, but even still, like having all the clubs where everyone in SOS, you meet them somehow through one club or another, and all the events going on was just such a great opportunity, and they've become lifelong friends that I met them day one at SOS camp, and still we hang out all the time to this day. So definitely a good learning and community building exercise.
I'll be interested from culture perspective, all of you, what are some of those things that you've really enjoyed or you might recommend to incoming change agents to explore, to get involved in? Obviously, being a student ambassador, that goes without saying. Do you have other clubs or organizations, maybe study abroads, or some of you mentioned the SURE program, you could go a little bit into that. So Caitlin, let's move over to you. What are some of these opportunities that you feel like you've had that you would recommend to incoming students?
I am currently vice president of the College Council, which really focuses on the relationship between faculty and the student body. And so one thing that I think is like super cool that we do is we host lunch with the dean, and so, well, deans. And so we reach out to Dean Darnell and Dean Boone, and we try and like schedule a time for them to come and eat lunch with the student body and whoever comes. And it's really personal. You get to ask them questions. You can ask them questions about really anything from their past to how they think something should be solved to their like opinions on things. So I think like that's something that's really cool that I've been able to do. Also, there's this organization club called Sustainability Buddies, which I highly recommend. It's a mentorship kind of like club, and the e-board matches you with a upperclassman, and then that upperclassman is kind of like your buddy and like your mentor, and you can go with them if you have any questions about classes, teachers, really anything, and they're like there to support you.
I like it. Chloe and Andy, what about you?
I am part of the Honor Society for Sustainability. So we work with professional networking with alumni and companies in the area, and then undergraduate students to put on mixers or LinkedIn workshops to help you bulk up your professional side of sustainability. And then also, as I said, I was part of the SURE program, which is super cool. It's the Sustainability Undergraduate Research Experience. So you apply to work with different faculty in the School of Sustainability, and you get paired with them and get to work on their research project alongside them. And it's a really great experience. I feel like I learned so much in such a short amount of time. I went in not knowing very much about statistics or statistical analyses, and at the end I wrote like a 30-page report with all of my statistical analyses I wrote, which is like, I don't know if I could have learned that much so quickly if I didn't have such a one-on-one relationship.
I love it. You heard it from a mentorship, you heard it from a research base. Chloe, what about yourself? What are some things that you've loved so far?
I recently just finished a relationship with my mentor. I was awarded at the Fraser Global Mentorship Program, where they actually match you with a professional and you get to kind of see how their professional day works. Unfortunately, I was supposed to go to Hawaii, and due to Corona, I was not able to actually go. They're going to reschedule it, so I get to go next year. But I still was able to build a great relationship with a sustainability professional and learn about characteristics that are important in her role. One thing I didn't mention before is I'm actually minoring in business. So learning about corporate sustainability and social responsibility was one big thing that I wanted to understand and learn about the different characteristics, the different internships, the different aspects of it that you can't get from a student perspective. So working closely with someone who works in that field was really great. Another thing I got to do was I got to study abroad. I mentioned that briefly. I went to Costa Rica, and when I signed up for it, I just wanted to go to Costa Rica just to travel. But then when I got there, I learned about sustainability and circular economy, and I got to go to a rehabilitation center for animals that have been pets, that are exotic animals that have been pets that had kept them from the wild. So I got to learn about how that's detrimental to those animals, and I actually found that I have a passion for environmentalism. Instead of the more equity business side, I learned about my passion for environment as well.
Finding your passions and unleashing them, that's what we love to do here. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a lightning round here. We're going to go Caitlin, Chloe, Andy, Caitlin, Chloe, Andy, right? So, and you have to like quick answers. You're ready to go. And it's the first thing that comes to your mind. So if you were a breakfast cereal, what cereal would you be, Caitlin?
I would be Rice Krispies because I love Rice Krispie treats.
Chloe, cereal.
Lucky Charms. I love sugar.
Dig it. Andy, what about you?
Honey Bunches of Oats, because there's those little sweet bits, but they're also kind of healthy.
Favorite place on campus, Caitlin?
Wrigley Hall.
Okay, that's where the school's at, everyone. Chloe?
The Secret Garden.
Oh, beautiful. Andy, how about you?
They took my top two, but outside of Noble is also really nice.
Caitlin, what are the two things you love to do in your free time?
I hang out with friends and sleep.
Dig it. Chloe, how about you?
I like to paint and play the guitar very badly.
Andy, what about yourself?
I like to play board games with friends.
Let's bring it back down for another piece right here. Let's go back, rewinding the clock to your freshman year. What is one thing, Caitlin, Chloe, Andy, that you wish you knew going into your freshman year? Had it been like an illuminating secret that had been told to you, like, oh no, really? You need to understand this. It could either be something you needed to understand, or maybe something you should have brought with you. Could be anywhere, whatever you want to take it. What's one little thing you absolutely wish you knew before coming on campus to study sustainability your freshman year? Caitlin.
Yeah, so mine would be to get involved in SOS clubs and organizations. I had a job my freshman year that I feel like took up most of my time. So I didn't really start getting involved until my sophomore year, which I really regret.
Get involved, I like it. Chloe.
One thing I wish I had known was getting my work done quicker. Instead of waiting to the last minute or waiting to the evening, if I was able to get it done during the day, I felt so much better mentally, emotionally. It was with a better time.
Sage advice, right? You get to make your own schedule in college, right? Students coming in. So if you do all your stuff in the morning, your afternoons are free. Andy, what about yourself?
Office hours? I wish I knew that they weren't scary to go to. Like, professors are just normal people who want to hang out with you and like talk about their research. So just like go and hang out with them for a little bit. It's a thing that I enjoy doing now that I wish I had known I could do freshman year.
Right, you just reach out. Somebody would be more than happy to connect with you. Just ask. Just go out there. You'll find students that all of our faculty, to Andy's point, love to connect with you, right? We're here to support all of you. One last lightning round at the very end of this. But let's maybe transition here into jobs, the real world. I'd be interested to hear from all of you. Let's just go right back down the line. How are you feeling as you've spent time here? You know a lot of upperclassmen, already people who have graduated, certainly folks that are already doing work for sustainability in the real world. How are you feeling about that, right? What do you hope to do and accomplish and engage in when you leave the School of Sustainability? Over to you, Caitlin.
Okay, yeah, so I know that after I get my undergraduate degree, I do want to get my master's. And so I'm not quite sure what a future job would look like for me from that aspect, because I know that I want to get a more deeper degree in something that I'm more interested in. But I know that I would be able to find a job with the sustainability degree, but I know that that's not quite my path.
So we do have a couple of options for those listening, right? Sustainability tees you up very well if you want to matriculate directly to a graduate perspective. But there's also a wonderful 4+1 program here Or instead of a 2-year master's, you do 4 years essentially of undergrad, and that 4th year kind of goes halvesies with a master's degree. So instead of 6 years, right, 5 years, you get a bachelor's degree and a master's. Pretty neat. Chloe, how are you feeling about things after school? What are you thinking about into the future here?
I'm very excited for the future. I think for me, because sustainability is so broad, there's so many avenues you can go down. I haven't narrowed it down yet. I know I want to go into corporate sustainability. I know I want to go into business and help that sector because they really are the big ones creating a lot of our issues. And thinking big, I want to be like a chief sustainability officer. But straight out of college, I don't know yet. I am going to do the 4+1. And hopefully by that time I can figure out smaller stuff I can get into.
So we had a question coming in from one of our attendees to expand a little bit about that 4+1. So I may have just answered that already. Again, to Chloe's point, again, you do a 4-year degree, your bachelor's degree, and instead of a 2-year master's, that 4th year, your senior year, you flex in. You start taking actually graduate school courses your senior year. So it takes your senior year a 12 out of 10, really amps it up. And then you go directly to your 5th year and you do what's called an applied project. So in lieu of a thesis, you're actually going to do something. And that's going to propel you out of the school and say for somebody like Chloe back into the corporate sector, where she will then quickly become the boss of all sustainability for a Fortune 100 company, and we will all be working for her in the future. So thank you for that reminder, Chloe. Andy, let's go over to you. What are you thinking about as you're looking down the barrel of graduation here?
So I, like Caitlin, am also interested in doing a master's program, but my time with doing research in the 4+1 really showed me that I think I want to be on the research side of helping corporate and also public sector sustainability. So providing them the knowledge on how they can better implement sustainability policies through research that I'm doing. That's where I would like to be.
Again, you've heard a lot of different things, and many of our ambassadors and current students are interested in maybe going to law school. Some of them do want to go directly into the job market. We have a very high percentage of employment after graduation. So nearly all of our graduates 90 days after graduation are deeply employed. The majority of them actually, so this is Chloe's sector, in the corporate sector, followed by government, nonprofit, and other NGOs. We've also got here in the school, when we think about jobs that may not exist yet, we have a very high streak of entrepreneurialism, right? So if you've got a crazy and nutso idea, we want that. We want you to step up. So I'm sure all three of you can attest that even an entrepreneurial mindset is fairly omnipresent here at the school. Now let's go back and maybe wind it down just a little bit. I want to talk about a transition strategy from your high school perspective over to a university one. What was that transition like? And what might you recommend to these high schools? Since we talked about the one thing you wish you knew in order to do, but that transition from high school to college, that's a big one. How do you deal with that? Did you have coping strategies or other recommendations that really made the transition better and easier?
For me, I'm an out-of-state student, and I also come from a military background. And so moving to ASU, I was kind of like used to moving. But I would say that one of the big things for me that I like not struggled with, but was new to me, was you don't like have your parents like there to tell you to like do your homework and like don't stay out too late and like don't party and stuff. So you really have to like hold yourself accountable and be responsible and get your work done and go to class and like wake up for class. That was a big thing too. So I just think that knowing that like you have yourself and that you need to make sure that you're doing what you need to do.
Responsibility is a key one. Chloe, what about you? What were some of those kind of coping transition things that really helped you move from high school to college?
So I was fortunate enough to have some of my immediate family members here in the state. I feel like that may have hindered me a bit because I went home majority of my weekends. I didn't reach out. I didn't go to club meetings or do a lot of things on campus my first year. I think although I missed my family, I should have pushed myself a little bit harder to get away from them a little bit and find my independence a lot quicker because I started getting the independence like Caitlin's experience my sophomore year.
Andy, what about yourself? What helped you move from high school to college?
So it was really easy, especially because I became close friends with my roommates to always feel like, oh, we just can hang out right now, but you also have work to do. Setting those boundaries or ways to tell your roommates like, hey, I'm in a working mode. Please let me just like finish this assignment was really important. So whether like right now in the house I live in, we have a little sign that we flip that says working hard or hardly working, but just like a way that can be like, I'm in my zone. Please let me just do my work right now.
Thank you for that recommendation. We're going to do our last lightning round before our final question. And that final question for our ambassadors is going to be, why come to the School of Sustainability? All right, so put that in your brain here in a very tight answer. Why be a change agent? Are you a Star Wars or a Star Trek type of person? Caitlin, how about you?
Yeah, I can't say that I've ever seen either of them. So
Okay, all right, ambivalent, I like it. Chloe, how about you?
Star Wars.
Star Wars. Andy?
I also haven't seen them fully, but I think I like Star Trek more.
Let's go ahead and wrap this up. Caitlin, in a very short piece, why should everyone listening to this be a change agent?
being a change agent and coming to the School of Sustainability, you will be supported and you will never be alone, and you will have the opportunity to make a difference, whether that's through research, through starting your own club or organization, through making connections with like different people. Truly, like, you can do anything, and the School of Sustainability has so many resources. There's so many people that are there to help you, and I think that's why, like, coming to the School of Sustainability really makes it easy to be a change agent.
Chloe, how about yourself?
We have the best support system. Like Caitlin just said, you have people who are rooting for you every step of the way. From the time you get here to the time you graduate, we even have people who work with alumni who are still supporting you. So once you make the decision to come here, you will have people helping you for the rest of your life.
Andy, cap it off for us.
So not only is our support system fantastic, everyone in the school is great, but the wealth of opportunities is so vast. So you can find your niche within the school and really target what interests you and bring that to show everyone else and inspire others that maybe they also want to focus on this very niche subject that you've always been interested in.
Honestly, this is sage words and great insights from you. Let me keep going here, just cap this off, and then we're going to say thank you to all of you. If anyone wants to connect with us, including these wonderful change agents that you see in front of you, we welcome the opportunity to chat with you. Reach out to us at schoolofsustainability@asu.edu. Shoot on over to our website, sos.asu.edu. I mean, this is the place to study sustainability, right? We would love to host you on campus in the future for a personal visit or have a Zoom session with any of you, and I'm sure any of our ambassadors would be happy to join. So on behalf of the School of Sustainability, and thank you to our wonderful ambassadors here today for sharing their insights, we want to thank all of you for joining us on a lovely Thursday afternoon. And please consider being a change agent. We look forward to welcoming you.
Would you say that sustainability has changed your lifestyle or way of thinking? In what ways? I think it definitely has. I think I've really become aware of a lot of like more political and like social aspects to the world. And I think that not living with my parents anymore and not just having like their perspective and like what's on the news has really like changed my thinking and like what I think needs to be changed in the world. I definitely think that my way of thinking has changed. I think my lifestyle has too. When I first came into the School of Sustainability, I told one of my friends that I wasn't like everyone else, and like I'll eat meat and like I'll drink out of my straws. But now I've like really come to be aware, and I like have metal straws, and like I'll bring my hydro flask everywhere, and I like really do try and make a conscious effort of like what I'm doing and like what sustainability like efforts I can make to minimize my footprint.
Oh, Andy, feel free to jump in and then we'll cap it off.
I think for me, one thing that definitely has changed my perspective for sure. I have the ability to look at situations from a more holistic point of view. I think one of the biggest things that I did for my family is I come from a small family. They're very stuck in their ways. My mom was not very big on recycling. My dad's a very meat eating person. And I got my dad to stop eating as much meat and my mom to buy a recycle bin. So those are big like wins for me.
I also feel like it gave me this holistic view. Going in, I thought that sustainability was all about ecosystem awareness. And even though that is a huge part of it, having the social and the economic side is hugely important. And so that gave me a more holistic view of everything I do and the companies I purchase from. So that has subsequently changed my habits also.
Well, honestly, you are all amazing. And again, we thank all of you. I'm glad we could fit in that last question. So if you're still with us, thank you again for being here. And we hope that you have a wonderful rest of your evening. And thanks again, Change Agents. You have a great day.